lot and forms water. But
সৌম্যজিৎদাকে
these
বলে দিতে পারি।
marriages only occur on Earth. If you go beyond Earth
সৌম্যজিৎদা
and
হচ্ছে
jump into the universe,
এই যে
you'll find
রাবীন্দ্রিক স্কুল অফ
hydrogen
ফাইন
loves
আর্টস
nobody but itself. It's kind of a self-marriage
আরে
system. Hydrogen is
রবীন্দ্রসঙ্গীত
pretty
গাইবে না
advanced
গাইবো
than humans. It acknowledges and
নচিকেতার
loves
সাথে
that
কাজ করো।
self-marriage system. So it bonds with each other and forms a diatomic hydrogen molecule by sharing their
না
electrons, and the bond is called covalent bond. And this diatomic hydrogen is
হবে না,
what
লাভ
we
হবে
call
না।
molecular hydrogen. Now, molecular hydrogen was, I'll go to the timeline, I'll see how this came into
দেখছি
existence.
কি
We'll
করছে।
quickly go through these 3 key points.
শুধু সিঙ্গারি করতে
Why
বললে
I
তোমার
am
মাথার দিব্যি নেই।
talking about this today, because since 2007, I'll show you what happened in 2007 and what happened thereafter in the world of hydrogen science. Around 1500 now, 1500 scientific articles in highest impact factor journals are there where it says hydrogen has therapeutic potential in over 170 different human and animal disease models. Most of the studies on the animal models are very, very successful. The clinical studies are few studies are on, few have been done, few are very, very successful even. Now, what does this molecular hydrogen do? It reduces the oxidative stress. I'll go into oxidative stress later on. It improves redox homeostasis. So you know homeostasis, which is a body does its own balancing. And inside the body, we have reduction and oxidation, the two key reaction. And hydrogen actually balances that two key reaction. And that's how it maintains the homeostasis. There are some mechanisms in it. Scientists are still working on the mechanism, and very soon there might be a Nobel Prize been declared on the right mechanism on hydrogen. One of the pathways which has been found is an RF2 pathway, which regulates the levels of the natural antioxidants found in our body, like glutathione, like superoxide dismutase, and catalase. I'll talk about that later on. Hydrogen has also been found as a cell signaling molecules, like nitric oxides, like carbon monoxides. I think you know about nitric oxides, how it was found in mid-90s in the last century, and when people came out with successful research, the nitric oxide is a vasodilator, and then came the invention of, then came Viagra, and you know how the pharmaceutical market actually encashed upon that. So very soon hydrogen is going to get encashed, so right on the boat and sail through. This is a amazing research all around the world going on. It also modulates the signal transduction, protein phosphorylation, and it helps in gene expression, which is amazing. It is not just an antioxidant, it is an anti-inflammatory, anti-allergy, and anti-apoptotic protective effects. If you don't know what is apoptosis or apoptosis, largely pronounced as apoptosis, it's a programmed cell death which occurs inside the cell. And once the cell gets cancerous, apoptosis starts automatically, and the body's normal cell starts dying by the cancerous cells, and that's how we die out of cancer. Let's quickly go through the evolution of hydrogen, how it came in existence. It is going back, so that's why I said going back to origin. So it's all about Big Bang. Now that's the last and justified theory behind the origin of the universe and origin of the solar system. There had been no such further theory been postulated thereafter. So let's, though there are a lot of debates on it, but let's click on it. Big Bang happened. When it happened, it was a massive supernova blast, which occurred at 10 to the power of -6 seconds. That's 1/1,000,000 second to 1 second. And when that bang occurred, after that bang, the universe started expanding massively. I'll show you how hydrogen bomb explodes, and you'll understand how it expands. The universe also got expanded and started expanding rapidly. And when it started expanding, the massive temperature which got generated out of that explosion started cooling off. So you can see the ambient temperature in the universe drops to a mere 1 trillion degree. As the universe started expanding rapidly, it reaches around 80 billion miles across, the temperature starts falling. And as things were cooling off, the particles which were generated out of that explosion, which we in the scientific world we call it quarks, they started colliding with each other and they joined to form subatomic particles like protons and neutrons. These protons were the precursor or the first atomic nuclei, and that's where hydrogen atom came into existence and chemistry began there. So we can tag or label hydrogen atom as the old as old as the universe or the oldest atom in the universe. Then after 3 seconds to 20 minutes, there were further collisions like primordial nucleosynthesis, it's called. The neutrons and the protons which were generated, they were colliding with each other again and came out another new atom called helium. And thereafter lithium. So these three were the first three which came on existence, and there after that, lot many, and now we have got around 118 elements, I think. Yeah. What is this? This is I personally feel it to be a god. Whenever I need energy, I look up at the sky and I see this burning bright. Why? Why it's burning bright? Why it burns bright for millions and millions of years? The reason being the fusion. The fusion between the deuterium and the tritium, you can see here. And when these two atoms, they fuse, the two isotopes of hydrogen, one neutron comes out, releasing a massive energy. It's 14.1 mega electron volt from one molar reaction, and along with a new atom, which is helium, and another 3.5 mega electron volt comes out. So with one molar reaction, it produces around 17.6 mega electron volt of energy, and that's how nuclear fusion can create a massive, massive energy, and that's how sun and all the stars have their energies. So we can say sun as a gigantic ball of hydrogen, and it's still there. And the day the hydrogen would finish up, sun would be into the black hole, and that's it. Maybe that's the end of the universe. Let's not waste much time on those celestial things. Let's come back and see where we see hydrogen. Do we see hydrogen on Earth's atmosphere? No. We know 78% of Earth's atmosphere comprises of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen. But if you go beyond Earth, you see it's all hydrogen, 74%, and helium with 24%. So that comprises of 98% of it. But was this scenario there when Earth was born? No. The first atmosphere of Earth was full of hydrogen and helium, because Earth was a ball of fire, came out of sun, so it was having the same composition what we see in sun. It's hydrogen and helium, but what happened when it came out? The Earth started cooling off, and with that cooling, hydrogen gas and also the helium, being very light in nature, they went out of the surface of the Earth. So the atmosphere got devoid of any sort of hydrogen or helium. Later on, that second atmosphere which the Earth had was full of carbon dioxide. Earth was very hot, very, very hot. Water vapor, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. Amazingly, no oxygen. No oxygen. Nitrogen came in, but no oxygen. So how did oxygen came in? And that too in 78%. And that only happened on Earth, and that's why we got life on Earth. Oxygen came in by the incorporation of blue-green algae in the nature. So blue-green algae were the first precursor of life, and it started photosynthesis. It started using carbon dioxide as a byproduct of photosynthesis. You all know is water vapor and oxygen. it happened for millions and millions of years, and the atmosphere got totally changed. So the atmosphere 3 is the 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen. So that's how our life is. So you see, atmosphere has got oxygen, and if you actually enter into our life, it has got around. It's got around. Mostly, it's all about oxygen inside the body, and we are organic, so we have got carbon, we have got hydrogen, and trace of other minerals and a bit of a nitrogen in the body. If you look at the Earth's crust, it's only oxygen, 47%, around 50% of it is oxygen, the most abundant element on Earth. And the second most abundant element in the solid element is silicon, which we see in the sand, and the rest all are different minerals. But you don't get to see any hydrogen there. You go out of Earth's atmosphere, go into the space, you see it's all hydrogen. So somehow we see the hydrogen is found on Earth in a form of a compound. It's not available in the form of its own molecule. What sort of compound? Water. And you see 2/3 of the Earth is made up of water, where hydrogen bonds with oxygen. And if you also look at our body composition, amazingly, the body composition is also close to 2/3 of water, around 70%. But we are not all fully hydrated. So if actually we are tested right now, we would be around 55, 56% water. But generally, when we are born, we are 70 to 72% water content. So our organs are basically floating on water. We are like, those organs are like fish floating on water. So we need to find, so nature gives us clue. I still remember one of our ex-professors is no more, unfortunately, Professor A.U. Day from Jadavpur University. When he used to teach us medicinal chemistry, he used to say, nature has got all the answers for us. What we need to do as scientists is we need to explore and exploit. We need to find the clue nature has given us. With our intellect, we need to find those clues and exploit those clues to find solutions for the ailments and solutions for everything. Unfortunately, the physicists and the material scientists, they found solution in hydrogen, which is there in the universe. So you can see hydrogen is popularly used in refining crude petroleums, the shale oils, what we call. Hydrogen is used as to make fertilizers, to make a lot of other consumer products, like we know how dalda was made. It was a hydrogenation of oil. Hydrogen was also used in to make in electronics, metals, even in glass making. And in chemical world, we know the famous Haber process, where nitrogen and hydrogen fuse together form ammonia, and ammonia is one of the precursors of many other pharmaceuticals. But then, even then, people didn't think of hydrogen molecule itself as a therapeutic molecule. So hydrogen is now popularly used as a source of energy. Hydrogen to power and power to hydrogen through electrolysis is one of the key area, which is a form of a clean energy. So the use of hydrogen is massively being used as a green energy, and it's very popular. Very soon we would be seeing. Very soon we will be seeing that hydrogen cars will be on the roads. Now, I've already talked about nuclear reactions. So we know that hydrogen is used as nuclear reactors, but there are some problems because the reaction needs a lot of very high temperature, which is not possible. So the nuclear reactors which are existing, they use nuclear fission, which is a breaking of uranium atom in plutonium, and energy comes out of it. This is what I was talking about when I was talking about how universe was expanding. But this is this is the Tsar bomb, the largest and the most strongest hydrogen bomb ever made by humans. It was done by Russian scientists. They detonated it in the early 70s. And you see that when the Tsar bomb was detonated, the explosion. It's a real picture. And you see how a thick cloud is spreading. So it goes on spreading, more it expands, the temperature drops. And when the temperature drops, different elements are formed out of that. So it's the gas. What you can see is mostly of helium now. It's no more hydrogen. Hydrogen is already reactive. Uh, if you have heard of this gentleman, Michio Kaku, I follow him on TED Talks. Michio Kaku is one of the world's most renowned physicists. He said the hydrogen bomb, which you just saw here, which is massive, he said for him, it was puny compared to the Big Bang, the creation of the universe. And that's what I really wanted to work on, the nature of the universe itself. And that's what I do for a living. Follow Michio Kaku. If you at least see a couple of lectures over YouTube, you'll be a fan of him. Amazing, amazing. Now, as I said, hydrogen is a very clear source of energy. It's a clean gas, doesn't have any toxicity to the atmosphere, and that's why buses of hydrogen and water are available nowadays. Rocket science, they understood the power of hydrogen, the massive energy it has, and they use it as a rocket fuel. It does not produce any carbon footprint. That's one of the key advantages of hydrogen. And it has got a very, very high energy density. So you see, that's the energy density of biomass, and that's actually hydrogen is mostly compact. So very high energy density, making it suitable for long-term storage. You can it in a tanker, and it can be transported from continent to continent. I thought to give this young boy, put him on my slide. It's a year 11 student, Devindiran from Vellore. It's last year. It came in Times of India, and I cut the picture. This young boy knows the power of hydrogen. And what he did, using some electrolytic plate, you can see it's a tanker containing simple water, and he's doing some electrolysis with some electrode plates and generating hydrogen gas out of it. And that hydrogen gas is helping his motorbike to run. It's a small scooter kind of thing. And on this research, VIT University Vice Chancellor he was overwhelmed, and VIT University funded the project, and now it's been upscaled. And very soon India will see a kind of a technology coming out of this. Now, I've talked about it. Let's skip this slide. This time limit is there. Now, the timeline. So you see, hydrogen was first discovered. Documented discovery of hydrogen was in 1520, which is around 500 years now. Lavoisier, the one who also found oxygen, named hydrogen from its French word hydrogenie. In 1783, the first hydrogen balloon carrier came into existence. 1843, earliest publication concerning forms of hydrogen were found, and it's still documented in archive. Around 1888, well, the very first publication linking hydrogen and medicine was there, but nobody kept much heed on to it. 1937, the explosion, Hindenburg's explosion of hydrogen, and that's how hydrogen bomb came into existence. So people understood the power of hydrogen. But then there was a big lull period. There was a paper in 1974, but then it was refuted by the greater scientist world. But then in 2007, Oshawa et al. From Japan, there's a group of scientists in Japan. They came up with a very solid paper. It's a landmark paper in hydrogen therapy, and which was published in Nature Medicine. You know, Nature Medicine has got an impact factor of something more than 30 plus, amazingly high. They came up with a paper. I have the snapshot of the paper. I'll show you. Hydrogen acts as a therapeutic antioxidant by selectively, mind this word, selectively reducing cytotoxic oxygen radicals. Let's see to it. Now, how it all began. I think people have heard of this word called miracle water. You can see a picture there. That's all Islamic faith people, they try to go once in their life, which is in Mecca, and they collect water from there. It's called holy water. And we are lucky to be born in a land of, this blessed land called India, or Bharat. You can see it's Gangotri water. The Gomukh is there, and the Gangajal itself is considered to be a healing water or holy water. We through our religious belief, we pray, we do everything. All our religious acts cannot be done without Gangajal. But there is a reason. It's not just a fake science. And for the Islamic people, that's a Zamzam water. It's everywhere here in Australia. I've seen, like, if you go to an Afghan store, you'll find Zamzam water in a bottle. So whenever people go there, when we go to Gomukh or Gangotri, we collect Gangajal. We drink it, we bath in it, and even if you go to Haridwar, if you take a bath, you'll feel so refreshed. There are a lot of other places where you get holy water. This is one is in Mexico called La Corte. You see people are collecting water through pipelines, and that's in Germany, northern. Again, people flock there just to get water. This is another big spot in France called Lourdes. You see how they have made the pipelines so that people can collect water. What's the reason behind it? In around 1950s, scientists from Russia and Japan was very proactive in it, and Korean and Chinese, they also followed that. They started researching upon it, and they found later on that it's nothing but they contain high ppm of molecular hydrogen. They are naturally alkaline, and these hydrogens are formed by some electrolysis happening with the minerals present inside the water. And the rocks are one of the key reasons for it. Now, but then that's it. Nothing came out. Around 74, there was Sony Incorporation came out with a device called Ionizer, which is the medical device in the world. And it's now sold by a company called Magic. And thereafter, a lot of Ionizer came into being. But then, still there was a lot of question that is it, and the Ionizer was actually tagged by Japan and Korea later on as a medical device, and it was only used in hospitals. Now, in 2007, the landmark paper came on, and this is Professor Shigeru Ota. The paper says hydrogen acts as therapeutic antioxidant by selectively reducing cytotoxic oxygen radicals. This opened an entire new vista in therapeutics. And thereafter, till this is till 2017. So right now, it's more than 1,500 plus papers. If you just go to Google Scholar or PubMed and just type molecular hydrogen or electrolyzed reduced water or certain keywords like this, just click it and see how many papers will come out. You can see most of the work were done on central nervous system, cardiovascular system. They found effect of molecular hydrogen on digestive system, metabolic syndromes, respiratory system, urinary system, reproductive, sensory, tissue dysfunction, cancer. Now, for the last 3-4 years, amazingly, work is on cancer, and scientists have found significantly good result against different forms of cancer. Now, what hydrogen can do on our body organs? In fact, it has been found to have benefits on basically all the organs, not a single organ, includes starting from the skin, which is the largest organ, to any other internal organs of our body. So you can see here on the brain, it has got, people have found very, very positive effect on Parkinson, on Alzheimer's, on ischemic brain disease, on eyes, they found ischemic perfusion injury, on lungs, like hyperoxic lung injury or ischemic lung injuries, on kidney, cisplatin nephrotoxicity, polycystic kidney syndrome, which still doesn't have any solution. There's no cure for polycystic kidneys, and hydrogen has been found to be very beneficial on that. On diabetes, like in metabolic diseases like diabetes type 2, islet dysfunction, so acute pancreatitis, hydrogen has been found to be very beneficial. Still, they are on the animal model. Some clinical studies have been done, but we are hoping that clinical studies will come up quickly and people would start understanding the benefit of hydrogen. Liver hepatitis, uh, drug-induced liver injury, in intestine, inflammatory bowel disease. Talk about heart, it's ischemic hearts, atherosclerosis, cholesterol. It goes down very quickly. Auditory system. So talk about any organ you would find scientists have actually found that hydrogen has got benefits and therapeutic benefits. So why this is so? Because hydrogen being the smallest molecule uh, and in the world of gases has got the highest diffusivity. It diffuses into the subcellular compartments very easily through the aquaporine channels. So, in 2004, Professor Peter Gregory came up and got Nobel Prize finding the aquaporine channels on the cellulose or cell membranes. And these aquaporine channels are the right channels for water along with the diffused hydrogen fluid. So diffusivity is very key factor for molecular hydrogen to be so much therapeutically effective. It diffuses into the subcellular compartments and it scavenges cytotoxic oxygen radicals to protect and selectively scavenges, which I'll come already I've said that paper. And it protects what? It protects the DNAs and the RNAs, our genetic materials. It also protects the proteins from oxidative stress. It also triggers the upregulation. So our body has got our own natural antioxidant enzymes, which generates antioxidants within through different cellular metabolic process. So glutathione is one of them. Dismutase is another one. Catalase is another one. So hydrogen triggers the upregulation of this. Not only it diffuses into it, it also triggers these enzymes so that the enzyme can work much better. And that's how these enzymes can fight and can strengthen our immunity. And molecular hydrogen is research is on how it can be beneficial against COVID kind of virus. So if our body is immune, be it COVID-19 or COVID-20, nobody can beat us. It is also having a cytoprotective, it also upregulates the cytoprotective proteins of the body and acts as a signaling molecule. It's a cell signaling molecule. These are pretty complicated science. I'm not going much detail into it, trying to say the story of molecular hydrogen today. It helps in cell metabolism, helps in gene expression, and finally, all these act results in being hydrogen as the strongest antioxidant on Earth. It's an anti-inflammatory, it's an anti-allergy, as well as anti-apoptotic. Now, quickly I will touch the base. What is antioxidants and what is this free radical? Because we have talked about these cytotoxic oxygen radicals, which are called free radicals. So what is free radical? Free radicals are any species which are deficient in electrons, especially which does have an unpaired electron. So you can see with an unpaired electron. And how to get rid of these free radicals? Antioxidants. We know about, and there are hundreds and thousands of articles, research papers, normal magazines. You see newspaper, they talk about antioxidant. Advertisements are on that this has got antioxidants. So antioxidant, what is which antioxidants are? Mostly they are neutral molecules. People think they are negatively charged. No, it's a myth. They're mostly neutral molecules, but they have a tendency to donate electrons. And when they find an unpaired electron species, which is a free radical, they help and they donate electrons. So think of
না
an
না
orange,
রাতে আমি
which has
100%
which
করে
is rich in
রাখছি
ascorbic acid, which is
বসবে তো
one of
আজকে
the key
সারা রাত
antioxidant. So ascorbic acid, when it goes into our body, it gets absorbed,
সে জানি না
and
যদি
then it starts coming to
অল নাইট লাগে
electron
তখন
and
নাই
start releases
ঘুমাবো না
free
কাল তবু
radicals.
কাজ না হবে
But the problem with all these
আমি
antioxidants, what
ওরকম
we eat as a food
আরে ঠিকঠাক
supplement,
কাজে
as a
বসলে যদি
nutritional
11টায়
supplement,
বসো
and also which goes
একটা
to
দেড়
food,
একটা দেড়টার মধ্যে কাজ
like
নেমে যাবে
fruits and
12টায় বসলে
vegetables.
আমার হবে না ভাই তাহলে আমি তার মধ্যে
Once
ঘুমিয়ে
they
পড়বো
donate their electrons and convert the free radical and stops the free
সাড়ে
radical
এগারোটায় বসো
oxidation,
2:30টার মধ্যে কাজ হবে
they become
1:30টার মধ্যে
electron
কাজ হয়ে যাবে
deficient, and thus these molecules become another reason for oxidative
সাউন্ড
stress.
বার দিয়ে কি হবে
Okay, so the natural ones are good, like what we get from fruits and vegetables, but the synthetic supplements,
সারাতে কত
recent
টাকা
research
লাগবে
says that they are no good for us. No good for us. So let's see what are the free radicals, and then we'll come to antioxidant. These are the general free radicals which we found generating within our body. Hypochlorites, all the halogens like bromo, fluorochlor,
হিঞ্জ গেলে কত পড়বে
and you can see some nitric oxides there, and
আবার ভেঙেছো
most of them are reactive species of oxygen. So therefore, reactive oxygen species ROS, and they're the key factor of all the oxidative stress in the body.
ওটা ঘটে
One of
হারিয়ে
them is
গেছে
superoxide, which is formed when an oxygen gains an electron, and then superoxide further gains an electron to form hydrogen peroxide, which is very, very reactive, very, very reactive. And this
মানে
hydrogen
আবার একটা
peroxide
ফ্লক
then
কনসার্ট
absorbs
হবে
another electron and becomes
রুমে টাকা
hydroxyl
দিয়ে তাও দেখবে লোক
radical and hydroxide radical.
ইয়া
Now there's
স্যার
a
হয়েছে
small
সরি
difference, and people normally mix them together.
অভিষেক মনে হয় করবে না দেখে
Hydroxide
রেখে
is a
দিচ্ছি
bond which can form immediately covalent
দেবজ্যোতি
bond,
দেখেনি এখন
hydroxide, and doesn't have an unpaired electron, whereas hydroxyl do have an
না না ও নিজে
unpaired
রিপ্লাই
electron.
করুক যদি না করে
And
তখন
believe me, not all free radicals are bad for our body, and it actually helps in cellular metabolism
আর
uh,
একে
and generates
ডিটেলস
energy
ডিসকাস
within the
করছিল
cell. But this hydroxide
করছিলাম
is
সব নাম
the
বলে দিয়েছি
key one, which is the most notorious, and that is one of the key one found to cause cancer. These hydroxides,
আবার দেখা হবে
hydroxyls, sorry,
বললো
hydroxyls,
তুমি আবার দেখা হবে
they
তাহলে আমার
absorb
ফোনটা দিচ্ছি
another
যখন আমি
electron
কম্পিউটারের উপরে কাজে
to
করবো
form
তারপর
hydroxide.
ঠিক আছে আমি এখনই দিচ্ছি
As a result, what happens? And where they get these electrons? They get these electrons from the cellular membranes,
টাকা বাড়ি
and
আছে তো
thus
করতে পারবো না তাহলে
cause a reaction called lipid peroxidation, because the cell membranes are made up of phospholipid. We know it's a soft phospholipid bilayer. Now, how and where does this happen? It happens inside the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell where all energies are generated. So you can see inflammatory cells, they respire inside there. Structural cells also do the same thing, and through environmental resource like junk foods, like the pollution, like indoor cooking fires, like carbon monoxide, smoking, airborne pollution, which has got nitric oxides, nitrogen dioxides, they all can excite this mitochondria through electron transport chain. They can generate these reactive oxygen species, and they are being generated constantly within our body, creating a carbonyl stress and leads to tissue damage, mitochondrial damage, impaired steroid function, muscle dysfunction, DNA damage, many autoimmune induction, pro-inflammatory signaling, and with the increase in these environmental pollutions and the stress factors and the bad food habits, these tissue damages are high, and that's why we see cancer in every second home. Now that's going to be the disease of this century, not COVID. COVID today is there, tomorrow vaccine would come in and we would be able to create antibodies against COVID. But then COVID is not the big thing. The big thing is cancer. How to get rid of this cancer? This is how the DNA gets damaged when these free radicals are formed through different sources. They get into the cell and then get the electron from the nucleus of the cell and get entry into the DNA, and the DNA gets damaged. I'm not going much detail into it. Oxidative stress, how it is being formed, how these ROS are formed, they are formed, and where they are formed. Yes, is it time?
Yeah, we are actually running short of time.
How many minutes we have? Around 5?
Yeah, five will be good. Five will be good.
Okay, good. So I'll quickly finish up then. Sorry.
Sure,
Oxidative
sure.
stress, thanks for that. Oxidative stress is the underlying cause for all these diseases. So you can see on the screen cancer, aging, diabetes, inflammation, infection, uh, joints, all arthritis, rheumatism, asthma. Talk about any disease, the underlying cause is oxidative stress. And we need a solution for that. What happens and how the cell gets under oxidative stress? Normal cell, when they are attacked by the free radicals, the cells get into that oxidative stress. So the solution is antioxidants. Now we have natural antioxidants. I say vitamin C, ascorbic acid, tocopherols, vitamin E, polyphenolic antioxidants, carotenoids, and a lot of researches around these things. But then we haven't done much research on molecular hydrogen. Look at these antioxidants: vitamin C, glutathione, vitamin E, calcium, CoQ10. Look at their relative size and look at the size of this molecular hydrogen. So small in nature, and that's why people neglected that for long. If that's the reason, it can diffuse into the cell quickly than these big molecules and can act on these free radicals, scavenge them, pull them out, especially selectively the hydroxyl ones, and can oxidize them. But as a result, sorry, not oxidize, reduce them. And as a result, it gets oxidized. What it forms? It forms simply water. Hydrogen with oxygen species would only form water, which is our body is made for. Amazingly, there is no free radical being formed out of that chain reaction. And that's where molecular hydrogen reigns on top of any other antioxidant. So you can see it's a selective and intelligent uh, an antioxidant. It does have zero toxicity. It's one of the safest antioxidant. It converts most harmful free radicals into water within the cell nucleus, and it also maintains the homeostasis. Um, since time is less, I'll just show you certain papers. There are thousands of papers. Like you can see, it's an medical hypothesis. Hydrogen therapy may reduce the risk related to radiation-induced oxidative stress. You can see another paper in molecular hydrogen as an emerging therapeutic medical gas. You can see a paper on this current pharmaceutical design. You can see another paper on molecular hydrogen symposium. And a lot of scientific studies says that the consumption of hydrogen-rich water for 8 weeks resulted in 39% increase in antioxidant enzyme superoxide is mutants. Now you see this particular slide, you see our blood normally under oxidative stress, they kind of form a rouleau formation. They stick to each other, blood cells. Now if our blood gets diffused with the hydrogen, you see the blood cells start separating out. Their mobility and the motility increases, and thereby the surface area increases, and we can intake more oxygen for cellular metabolism. And that's how the energy of the body enhances very, very significantly with having hydrogen in our body. So how to get in hydrogen? Methods of administration. We can get hydrogen with saline injection, but for that we need to go to a hospital, stay in a clinic, or we can have a hydrogen-rich bath. Yeah, we do that when we go and have a dip in Haridwar. We actually have hydrogen-rich bath. That's why we feel good. But that's not also possible in day-to-day life. Inhalation of hydrogen gas, yes, that's possible. Again, you need to go to some parlor in China. There are a lot of parlors in Japan. There are a lot of parlors where they have inhalation machine. You can see inhalation machine there. But the most practical one is ingestion of hydrogen-rich water. As I said, our body is composed of around 65 to 70% water, and water is most compatible to our body, so we can have water. How to get that water rich with hydrogen? We can have hydrogen tablets. Now, what is that tablet composed of? Nothing but pure metallic magnesium. Once you put that magnesium in water, magnesium plus water creates hydrogen. But there is a chance of a bit of a combustion. A slight risk factor is there. The most safest form is using water ionizers. How does water ionizers act? They act uh, uh, by electrolysis. Simple electrolysis with platinum, titanium electrodes. Um, and that's what hydrogen water looks like. I have got a white hydrogen water ionizer in my home. I drink it daily. Uh, you can see once the water comes out, you see that full soda kind of thing, the haziness. That's all about hydrogen. That's molecular hydrogen floating. Amazingly, you can't store it, you can't bottle this water because hydrogen being light would spread out. So you have to use it within 48 to 72 hours maximum. And if you want to store it, you have to store it in steel bottles or glass bottles. Plastics are absolutely no use for it. Now, these waters do have an ORP. Am I out of time?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, okay.
Little bit.
I'll skip then. ORP is one of the key things which we need to know. ORP is an oxidation reduction potential. So any food, any whatever we are eating or drinking, we should know what is the ORP of it, not the pH of it. So ORP is a measure of oxidation reduction. If it's a positive, it would create oxidation to our body. If it's negative, it would create reduction to our body. We need something which is negative, and that's why Chinese or in Asian countries you'll see green tea is so popular. We know lemon is so acidic, but then lemon is very good because it has got a negative ORP around 150. Apple cider vinegar is highly acidic, having a pH close to 3, 2.5, but then it has got a negative ORP. That's what it's so good. Now, hydrogen water through ionizers can create a very high negative ORP, less than 400, and that's how they are so powerful a provider of molecular hydrogen to our body. You can see 1.5 liter of hydrogen water is equivalent to 756 bananas and 516 apples. They're all research values. 38 carrots, 45 spinach, and 3.7 pumpkins. So you understand the power of hydrogen water and how it can heal up. And I've already talked about Dr. Peter Gregory. I'll skip this slide. Uh, mm, Dr. Corey Allen. A lot of doctors are into this hydrogen water therapy, and she's one of the world-renowned neurologists, and she has found hydrogen has actually helped to get rid of autism, Alzheimer's, dyslexia, learning disabilities. She's basically a child neurologist. Uh, this is a man who invented colonoscopy in this world. Dr. Hiromi Shinya has done more than 25,000 colonoscopy operations in America. He's still the chief of endoscopy in New York. He has got a lot of books, and he's kind of promoter kind of thing about molecular hydrogen. See the colon and see the colon after 3 months treated with hydrogen water. See, it's a chronic constipated colon of a 45-year-old female, and this is after the treatment just through hydrogen water. It's a chemotherapy. You can see a colon cancer, black cells, right? And it's been treated by hydrogen water and chemotherapeutic agent together. So it actually enhances the normal pharmaceutical drugs. So yeah, as I said, our body is 75% of water, and we are all most of the organs are kind of uh, like fish. They're floating in water. We normally, when something happens with the fish, what we do, we change the water, right? So same, like if we have some ailments or some disease, we need to change our water, our system of water, and that's how we can come across, instead of putting different medicines into it, rather let's focus on the water content and make it hydrogen rich, which is a free antioxidant given by the nature. So change the water. If you are interested, go into this molecularhydrogeninstitute.com. See amazing papers and researches on it's a non-profit organization. Watch the videos on YouTube, and that's my website where I work on water ionizers. So you can also look up on my website. And due to time paucity, I would have shown you a video on molecular hydrogen, but then yeah, that's it. So let me go back. Um, Any question? Now let me open up and for any question. If you have any question, if the time permits, I would be happy, or else I can put my email in my chat box. Go to my website, wonderboy.com, and you can register there, put your questions there, and I'll definitely answer you back. Over to the organizer.
Yeah, hello. Saksar, are you here?
If time permits, I can go and show some video, but you said, yeah, I think I'm over my time. Yeah. So, yeah, let's
Yeah,
not.
Amitabh, our next speaker is waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Saksar, are you here? I think we should take one or two questions. Yeah. Dr. Dipankar Ghosh.
Hello.
Yeah, Saksar, please.
Yes, I was actually muted. Yeah. Okay. So till now, I did not get any such questions, but everybody is appreciating the fact you have raised.
So I got one question. Saksar, shall I read? Amitabh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sure.
at least we can address. Lots of questions were there, but that were written in private chat. So that's why Saksar cannot. I'll read only one. Is hydrogen fuel cell technology viable economically and safe?
100%. 100%. Hydrogen fuel is, as I said, it's used in the rocket fuels. It's hydrogen fuel buses are there in USA and Europe, and very soon you'll see hydrogen cell cars would be in. The only thing is it's upscaling and making it in a commercial scale. So yeah, but it's absolutely safe. Doesn't have any carbon footprint, and it's easy to transport from one continent to another continent. So it's 100% hydrogen. It's all, the entire material world is on hydrogen cell. That's the future. That's the only alternative to fossil fuels.
Yeah, that's it. There are a lot of questions, but what we are planning is that we will accumulate that and we'll send it to your mail if time permits. You kindly answer.
I have already put my email in the chat box, so people can note it down and can send me questions. I'd be really appreciating if somebody sends me a question. I can see some questions, but I know paucity of time, so yeah, I can answer them if the question.
One pertinent question is there. How can we determine the dose one person wants to?
That's what I can see. Determination of hydrogen dose. Hydrogen dose is normally in a 1 glass of water, it's a 5 to 20 ppm of hydrogen. It says that around 30 ppm of hydrogen per unit dose is very good for our body as an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. But then to get that, you can have it from hydrogen inhalation or hydrogen saline injection, but that's not always practical. Our body has got its own antioxidant, so we don't need those powerful antioxidants every day, but we need in small dose. So that's why hydrogen water is most recommended, because it gives you a low dose, and that's how your body constantly get perfused with hydrogen rather than getting a very high dose of 30 ppm. So for more about the dose, get into that molecularhydrogeninstitute.com. You'll find the dose of hydrogen, and there are a lot of videos on research papers in Molecular Hydrogen Institute. Loads of research papers are there, and I have got my archive I can share with you.
Yeah, Saksar, over to Saksar.
Thank you, sir. Sure, sir. So, Dr. Ghosh, we are having a small token of appreciation for you. I would like to present that in front of the screen, in front of all of you, with your permission, sir.
Okay, yeah, sure. It will be a great honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Just let me know if my screen is visible.
Not yet.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh, good.
So
Thank
this
you.
is what we have.
In the
Thank you for
virtual
that.
world, this is the only thing that we can give you, Amitabh, and thank you for extending your kind support
Yeah,
and joining with us.
my happiness lies in seeing that at least 230 participants are there still hanging with me. And if at least 1% of them, it's really,
Uh,
believe me, if somebody is thinking of doing PhD and thinking for a topic, this can be a game changer for them. Working on hydrogen, molecular hydrogen as therapeutic, its pharmacology and pharmacodynamics, even pharmacokinetics, it can be a game changer PhD. Whoever is thinking of a new PhD. Yeah. So
and
feel
equal
free.
number of participants are watching on Facebook and YouTube also.
Oh yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks to
Thank you, sir.
everybody, and yeah, best of luck. And Himanshu, it's been a wonderful, and Pintu, been a wonderful organization. And yeah.
Abhijit sir is also here, but I
Oh,
think sir is muted. Uh,
okay.
Abhijit sir is
Hmm.
here.
Oh yeah, I can see him. Yeah, I can't see his face.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's.
would love to see him once.
Yeah, now you
Oh,
can.
there you are. Yeah.
Sir is here. Sir is.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm fantastic.
It's good, but sometimes I do see you in the Facebook, of course.
Right. Yeah. I don't see you. You are not that popular in Facebook though. But
No,
yeah.
no, 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 no. I'm definitely. I'm not much into the Facebook, but nowadays, recently, I had been.
Yes, with the
Uh,
old photo.
I am an old man, so naturally, I have an old copy.
Oh, that's a young photo of yours.
So you may say that old man is having a young mind.
Absolutely, always evergreen.
So how is life?
Yeah, fine, fantastic.
It's good. I have means I was listening to your this presentation. It was really a wonderful presentation, and as
Thank you.
usual, in a very lucid way, and it was really good, very informative, and really a good site, which I think many of the people are not not thinking nowadays, and it's a really good instigation to all the new researchers who can look into this subject and go on. Thank you.
Absolutely, highly appreciated. Highly appreciated. Thank you.
Bye.
And Amitabh, one more thing, it's Amalenduda is also here. Dr. Amalendu Basu.
Yes. Dr.
Yeah,
Basu, I can
I
see
cannot
you.
unmute. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
you can hear me, na?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So after a long
He,
time I am meeting you, I have heard, but time is
Right.
running short.
yeah.
So
We'll proceed. We'll proceed, sir.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sak sir, over to Sak sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Ghosh, for such a nice presentation and a nice topic. Now, I would like to move on to
Wait. Sak sir, just a second. I am putting it on live.
sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Just, yeah, it's done, I think. Yeah, you can start.
Sure, sir.
Over to you. Yeah.
So now we are already having our next plenary session speaker. That this would be the fifth speaker of today. So I would like to give an introduction about him. We are having amongst us as a speaker Dr. Chikungunya Pal. He is the professor of Cellular Immunology and Experimental Therapeutics Laboratory, Department of Zoology, West Bengal State University, Barasat, India. So Dr. Pal has a specialization in cellular immunology and experimental therapeutics, vector molecular biology, his area of research being immunology of visceral leishmanias, development prophylactic therapeutic lead against visceral leishmanias, factors influencing the vector transmission and malaria, vector gut microbiota, He has published 3 patents, 4 book chapters, and 31 peer-reviewed research papers on various national and international journals. He received the prestigious award, that is, Outstanding Teacher Award, in the year of 2019 from Department of Higher Education, Government of West Bengal, India. He was also achieved some fellowships of International Visiting Fellow, Department of Health Research, Government of India, the year of 2017. He has also received ICGEB Fellowship in Italy in the year of 2014 at International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, World Health Organization Fellowship in the year of 2011. He completed 6 government projects in last 5 years and has 3 ongoing projects right now. He had completed his MSc from Calcutta University and obtained his PhD from CSIR IICB, India. He had been a postdoctoral fellow at College of Medicine, Pennsylvania University, State University, USA. So that was a brief enlightenment on the professional tour of our speaker, Dr. Chiranjeev Pal. He's with us right now, so I would like to request him to proceed for the presentation. Sir.
Thanks a lot. I would like to.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine, Chiranjeev.
Thank you, Himanshu. Thank you very much.
It's visible, sir. Yes.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. I'd like to show my gratitude first to the University Authority, JIS University Authority, for the invitation into this forum. Probably I am the man odd in out. I am from the zoology background, cellular immunology background. I am not a pharmacist. However, basically we have been working in the drug development and vaccine development against infectious diseases. I've been trained in cellular immunology, but recently I started another interesting work, that is the vector molecular biology. Till that, the concentration was more towards the drug or vaccine development towards the parasite or bacteria or viral entities. However, a little work has been done on the vectors, on the insects who are carrying and transmitting these diseases. If we can block within their modalities, within the limitation of the vectors, then it would be wonderful. As all of you know, any drug or vaccine, they must have some injurious effect on the host. So my topic is an interesting and new topic. Does the exposure to can I? Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Does the exposure to innocent vector bites determine the outcome of arthropod-borne infectious diseases? Probability versus possibility. So what are the innocent vectors? Vector-borne diseases account for more than 17% of all infectious diseases in the world, causing more than 7 lakh deaths annually. They can be caused either by parasitic or by bacterial diseases or viral diseases. Don't think that a single vector is spreading the disease. If you take an example of malaria, not only a single species of malarial vector is spreading so many number of diseases, the so many type of diseases, even in India. These are the list of vectors which are reported to carry plasmodium and can cause malaria in India. Like the Culex, the list are for vectors who carry the Japanese encephalitis in India. The vectors for dengue and chikungunya are Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. All of we know the Aedes aegypti is the key vector for spreading the dengue fever in India or outside the India. But at present, it has been known that Aedes albopictus, they are responsible for the transmitting the dengue of subarbrigians. These are the vectors for visceral leishmaniasis, rather a group of leishmaniasis, Phlebotomus argentipus, which is more Phlebotomus papatacea, and Phlebotomus argentipus is more common in India, and Phlebotomus papatacea, these carrying the cutaneous leishmaniasis. This is the visceral leishmaniasis. Why so people are so interested about the control, or you can say taking over the vectors? Elements such as climate change, population instability, and globalization are the driving expansion of leishmaniasis or any vector disease. It matters with the distribution of hosts. The important criteria for the host for the vectors are their host, the plant hosts, which determines the vectorial capacity. The vector competence of a vector depends on the plant sources. The local vegetation, important as the resting site and sugar sources, possible impact for future climate risk. The change of climate, mostly the vector-borne diseases or the insect who are probing the humans or the animals, they basically harbors in the tropical countries. Because they need a particular temperature and humidity for either the egg production or the hatching of these vectors. So, how a vector imbibe or draw your blood? Basically, the proboscis or the sting of a vector, if you say the mosquito or sandfly, they probe it up to your peripheral blood vessels. So, they draw the blood from peripheral blood vessels. What is the principle? It's like a hypodermic syringe. They create a vacuum in their inside and draw the blood. During the creation of vacuum, they provide their gut contents and the salivary components into your blood. We know they provide the salivary gland exudates, and the salivary gland exudates, vector salivary gland exudates, they have anticoagulants, so they can take up the liquid blood, or you can say the blood in fluid state. But this is not the conception right now. During their introduction of salivary components, they introduce the salivary components, not only the anticoagulants, also 20 to 40 proteins, nucleosides, and nucleic acids. They may introduce into a system. They also introduce the gut microbiota and the fungi which they have inside their gut. And these gut microbiota, bacteria or fungi, they have a key role in parasite development inside their gut. Without the coexistence of this gut microbiota, that means bacteria or fungi, the parasites cannot be differentiated up to the stage of infective stage. And when the vectors introduce or come to take your blood, they introduce the salivary components and also the gut microbiota into your circulation. So, it resembles like a passionate French kiss. It soaks over our blood in exchange of salivary components and streaming trail of gut microbiota. Vectors remain innocent or uninfected. You can say innocent or uninfected until the transfer of pathogens either from host or environment is pending. So, vectors may carry the pathogens or may not carry. Innocent vectors do not invite pathogen inside. Rather, infected vectors unknowingly provide shelter to the pathogen inside itself. They do not know when the pathogens basically come and start harboring inside themselves. When they know that they are now harboring the pathogen inside themselves, they start generation of immune system to block these pathogens. However, these are the gut microbiotas. They are protecting pathogens because both the gut microbiota and the pathogen, they need their coexistence for the survival. So take example of leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis, this is a group of disease. Visceral leishmaniasis, cutaneous leishmaniasis, or the mucocutaneous leishmaniasis. This is the world map. 350 million people at risk and 12 million cases per year with an annual incidence of 0.7 to 1.2 million cases of cutaneous leishmaniasis and 0.2 to 0.4 million cases of visceral leishmaniasis per year. They are increasing. This is the data taken from the World Health Organization site. The last, updated data which is available up to 2018. There are 50 several species of Leishmania species is transmitting disease as well as several type of vectors, phlebotomines and flies. They are transmitting the disease worldwide. This is a basic introduction how the Leishmania species and how the phlebotomine vector species are originated and evolved during the migration of human beings. Come to the point. So, the relation of vectors in spreading transmission. In 1988, Titas and Ribeiro, they published a path-making work in Science. They have shown that if you inject salivary gland lysate of a vector, of a phlebotomine vector, simultaneously during the introduction or infection of Leishmania in Balsi mice or murine model, it enhanced the disease. So, up to 1988, the consensus was in naive mice, saliva is reported to enhance infection when infected sandfly bite host to inoculate leishmania parasite along with saliva. So, up to 1988, it was the consensus that salivary gland exudate or vector salivary components which are inoculated during the bite into the host, they basically enhance the parasite infection. In 2000, these two guys, Professor David Sachs and Shaden Kamhai, they again proposed another path-breaking work. Again, it has been published in Science. Protection against cutaneous leishmaniasis resulting from bites of uninfecting sandflies. So, they proposed if you are exposed previously to the uninfected sandflies, it basically protect when a infected sandfly will come and infect the leishmania into your system. That means uninfected or innocent bite, they are protecting yourself. So again, the same saliva, completely different report. Pre-exposure of mice to uninfected sandfly saliva conferred a protective effect against leishmania infection. 2018, another path-breaking report was published in Cell, Host and Microbes by Ranodhir, Professor Nakashi, Shaden and Jesus Valenzuela. Basically, Jesus Valenzuela and Shaden, they are my mentor. They are my host during my when I was in NIH, MSc. They showed gut microbes, the vector or the potential vectors not only introduce the salivary gland components, they also introduce the gut microbes into your system. It was not experimentally done before 2018. They have shown that the sandflies, they are introducing they have prepared the experiment like this. They have taken 2 batch of sandflies. 2 batch are infected with the Leishmania donovani, and 1 batch of sandflies were fed with the antibiotics sugar saps. So now they are devoid of the microorganism or bacteria, and then they infected the murine model, they infected the Balsi mice, both with the sandflies who are not fed with the antibiotics. That means they have the antibiotic inside their gut, and the other group fed with antibiotic sugar sap. That means they don't have the microbiota. So the microbiota of the bacteria, they can initiate the downward immune cascades. So these 3 papers completely changed the shape of the concept of infectious diseases either borne by the sandflies or mosquitoes. That means they have the vector, have the potential to dictate the transmission of infectious disease, not by transmitting the pathogen, also by incorporating the salivary components and the gut microbiota. So how these are developed? Report shows in some areas a single individual can receive nearly 200 mosquito bites per day in any particular malaria endemic region, or more than 10,000 bites per year. When they analyzed the female Anopheline mosquitoes, they revealed the plasmodium containing infection is only 0.1 to 10%. That means the host or the human subjects who are exposed to this much amount of vector bites are mostly by the uninfected vectors. So what are the influence? How you can analyze the influence? Not done clearly. The analysis are working like this. Lutzomyia flaviscutella has been incremented as a vector for Leishmania amazonensis in Amazonian Brazil. It's a species of parasite and this is vector. Lutzomyia complexes, basically Lutzomyia, the genera Lutzomyia, these are the Sanphi vector groups which are found in New World. And the phlebotomine sandfly group, other like phlebotomous species, they are found in Old World like India, Bangladesh, Africa, etc. These two branch divided during the evolution, during the separation of these two land mass, during the separation of two land mass, Gondwana mass separation. That times these two fly separated during that time. Remember it. We the humans were evolved is like 4 to 6 million years ago. But the sandflies or the insects, they were evolved 30 million years ago. And the protozoan parasite like Leishmania, they evolved like 100 million years ago. It was thought that earlier this Leishmania species, they are infecting the reptiles. And from reptilian infecting Leishmania species, they evolved as a mammal infecting Leishmania species. So what they did, so salivary gland components, they have a major role. What they did, they dissected out